This is Professor Nelson with the Jewelry Design Department at FIT. Continuing our series of tutorials for basic rhino modeling, or JD138. Working again with the final ring project. This is the final way of applying surface detail I'll be showing in these tutorials. I'm going to show you how to apply surface detail using Orient on surface. It's key, if you want to have some control over how this works out for you, that you give yourself some reference geometry to work with. Let's say, for example, that I want to do 6 elements, 6 motifs radiating from the center of my ring. It would be a wise idea to array this polar 0, 6, and then project. It'd be wise to give yourself some reference geometry that you can use. Alright? Explode. Okay. Delete rest. Curious why I ended up with this fragmented curve here, but not on the other side. Interesting. Alright. So, now I have some reference geometry. Like we did before in the previous tutorial, those of you who watched it, I'm going to simplify this file. I'm going to move the 3 layers that have information I want to keep to the top. Hold down the Shift key. Select those 3 layers. Hit the Tools button. Invert. Nope, didn't want to do that. Invert selection. Then play with the visibility to turn on all of those at once. Pick any one of those just so I can turn off. Remember, you can't turn off the active layer. So make one of the layers I want to keep was active before. None of them are. I can turn them off to protect them. Control A. Delete. And now I have a nice sparse file to work with. Save as, so I don't lose the original one that had a lot of useful information in it. And I am ready to go. So, like I did in the other case, I want to use external information on this file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow the leaf that we worked on together. Of course, for some reason, I don't have a leaf file here. It might be in our course folder. Not looking good. It is such a simple file that I may have chosen not to hang on to it. That would be an unfortunate turn. Is it in one of the other tutorial folders? Okay. It is not showing up. Now that's unfortunate. Bear with me, I will steal one. is being difficult. Okay, sorry about that. I needed to find a leaf file from our project. This happens to be being watched by students from the fall of 2015. Thank you, Ziki, for borrowing us your leaf. Okay. I want to spin it around so its orientation makes more sense to me. And I'm going to scale it so that its scale is more appropriate to the size of the ring. Okay. And I can use grid snap to move it out from under the ring to the front. And I'm going to want a few of these. But before I do anything more, I can see that it's going to float up on top of the surface, and I don't want that. I do want this to bite into the surface of the ring. To prepare, or to give me something to visualize that, I'll just draw a circle and put a planar surface on it. And that'll help me visualize. Make this a better color. That'll help me to visualize Ziki's leaf and how it interacts with the flat surface, because I need it to interact well with the flat surface for starters. Okay, so time for my cage editing. X direction is the red direction. I just want an odd number of points so that I can have reasonable control. I really don't want a lot of points. I don't want to do any real fine adjusting. I want to be pretty coarse with my adjustments. Y is this direction. 7 again should be sufficient. And that's good. First thing I'm going to do is move the whole thing up a little bit. If I move all the control points up, I move the whole item up. Maybe not that far. Okay. I want to free the nose. It's kind of buried in right now. Now, mind you, Ziki didn't do anything wrong. She was trying to keep this as interesting and organic as possible. I'm going to rotate those up. It's just I'm now applying it, as I did in the last video, to something it was never intended for. Just a hair. Okay, I've got a good bite into the ground here. I've taken the nose back up and out. I want to drop the two back wings down. Deselect the more central row and move again. Okay, all right. Gonna grab some points here. these two sections of points and move them down. See if I can't close some of that hollow out underneath there. Grab the next row over. Actually, go ahead and grab the next 2 rows over. Do the same. Not bad, not bad. I have reasonably good contact. Okay? Now, if you've got a control box like this that's now all wavy and funky, and I still want to do control point editing, but I don't want to have to deal with all the craziness that's going on, throw it away, do a new box. See how nice and tidy that is. Okay? I want to non-uniform scale my whole thing. Now I could have just used non-uniform scale, but the beauty of the bounding box is of the cage editing box is these points actually touch the top edge of my surface, which means if I want to just scale it from the top edge down on an organic form like this, it's easier to do. Otherwise, outside of a bounding box, it'd be very hard to determine where the top was. Okay. And I basically don't want any major pockets underneath the leaf. Okay. It is going to fight me, so I'll do another non-uniform scale. A little bit of pooling in here I don't care about too much. It'd be nice to get rid of, so I will. I'll get rid of it. I'm going to do a non-uniform scale again, but just with those points. There. Okay. I'm happy. In the center here, I'm a little too bitten in. I'll grab that whole center line. Do a non-uniform scale. That's nicer. There, throw that away. Throw that away. I'm ready. Okay, I want to have a few of these. 2, 3, 4. I want to have 6 to be exact. Copy. Mirror. Okay. I'm ready to have fun. Turn on my surface. I want to lock those curves so nothing happens to them. Transform. Orient on surface. Select or objects to orient. Press enter when done. Base point. This will act as the center or as a reference point for where you're going to orient or align or scale your piece. Okay, I'm going to put it right in the middle. Reference point for scaling. I'm going to try and just visually grab it close to the nose. Actually, it would be helpful if I grabbed an actual snapping point. So I'll grab the end of that surface right there. Surface to orient on. Okay. Okay. I have a choice here. Do I want it rigid? No. Do I want a uniform scale where it just goes as it is and sits on the surface? No. I want to be able to adjust the scale. Prompt. Rotation. I want to be able to prompt. Okay. I want it to go into the middle here. So I'm going to grab that near that seam. Scale factor. Right now it's set at 1, which is actual scale. Pardon me. I'm going to type in 0.9. And now I have my orientation. And I want it to go like so. Now I'll have to redo this because I made a couple of mistakes, but once Rhino has oriented the object, okay, I actually backed out of that because Rhino was taking too long to complete the command. And I already knew I had made a mistake, so there was no point in waiting. I need to have better control over how I'm going to position this. I don't want to have to undo or relocate it, especially given that this is a complicated mesh form and Rhino is having a hard time orienting it. That being the case, I need to create some geometry that I can use because there's not a lot on here on the leaf itself that I can grip. So I'm going to pull a circle. It basically gets me the tip, and this is pretty good for the size of the back. And I'm going to go ahead and copy that around to all of the leaves that I have. That way I can be more certain when I orient these to the surface that I'm doing it properly. Okay, I'm going to repeat the command again. Quad, grab the back of the circle and the front of the circle. Surface to orient on here. Okay. Okay, prompt, that's all good. No rigid. Okay. I want to have copy equals yes. That was the main mistake I made. I want to pick here roughly where I would like that to go. Scale factor, I think the 90%. Let's make it a little smaller. Let's make it 70.7. Shift key to pull it straight out. And click. one of the reasons it may have been taking so long before is I hadn't made it small enough to fit. If the object is too big to fit, then Rhino has some very difficult math to deal with. Okay? And I believe that may still be too large. So I'm going to back up. I also would like to have another reference curve here. I would like to have a reference curve somewhere in there. Okay. And again. Quad, surface. Okay. This way I can use an intersect to grab here. And I'm going to make it 0.6. And there we go. Okay. Now you can see that at 0.6 it was still having a hard time fitting that on there. Okay, so I'm going to redo it. Record history, orient on surface, quad, surface to orient on, okay, intersect, scale factor 0.5, direction pull straight out. Okay, and there I have my first leaf. Now I could keep doing this, putting more and more leaves, but I want to be able to change each leaf independently as it sits on the surface. Okay. Orient on surface, quad. You know what? I would like this to stay about as close as that one, so I'm going to get another reference curve up here. Oh, that's fine. Alright. Orient on surface, quad. Okay. I need history. Quad. Intersect. No, I don't want 50% this time. I want it bigger, so let's say 0.7. And I can use near snap to grab along this curve. Okay. Now you can see the kind of crazy distortion I'm getting. Alright. Once again, this is one of the challenges that we face, is this distortion issue. And as usual with this tutorial, I'm just starting with this and trying to do my best with it. And you can see how it's following the ISO curves of the surface, which is not really something I want it to do. Okay. That isn't great. That isn't great at all. Okay. Undo. See, I quite like that reference curve, but undo. So, I have a challenge. I was going to orient on surface, show you how easy it was, and it turned out not being easy. That's how it's done. You can see how unpredictable the results are. I can let this tutorial stand as it is, and that will show you how Orient on surface works. And I'll do that right now. But I'm going to follow it with a tutorial that solves this issue.